Alright, what is up? This is Slow Plays, and I am back at it again with some more Bleach Rebirth of Souls updates and news here on the channel, guys. We have a huge, massive, gargantuan free update, probably the biggest update since the game launched. The last update we had was in April, so it's been about 2 months since we've gotten anything for this game, and that's why I haven't really covered anything, because there hasn't been anything new until now. Yesterday, we had the official trailer drop of, surprisingly enough, Ichigo Kurosaki 1000-Year Blood War version, okay? He's going to be the first DLC character. Now, keep in mind, we covered these leaks a while ago, probably like not even a week after the actual game launch, and I believe there are going to be 4 characters, and I thought Ichigo was going to be the last character just because there is a major thing he does as this character, right, in the anime, that it's going to be near the end of the entire arc, right? The 1000-Year Blood War arc, okay? And I mean, is it a spoiler at this point? I guess people, if you're interested in watching this video right now, you should already know, but just a spoiler warning right now if you want to click off this video or fast forward. His Horn of Salvation form, okay, is present in, I assume it's his special, like, ultimate attack or whatever. Early access for this character is going to be up today. It's going to be later today. I think in Japan it's going to be on the 11th, but for us that live in, you know, the US and stuff, it's going to be like 1 day early. It's going to be available June 17th for everyone, okay? Early access starts today, right? And I'm sure people can get into the files via PC and be able to access the character a little bit earlier. So you get the early access to the early access. But for those of you that do not have the Season Pass early access, you'll have to wait until June 17th, which that's actually a very long time. For Sparking Zero, DLC is 3 days early access. This is a full week, right? Which is really crazy. So people that got the Season Pass, I guess it is actually worth it. The other characters that got leaked are going to be Unohana, and I can't remember who else was in there. I think it's Yuhaba or whatever. Oh yeah, it was Ichibe, I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Let's go over the actual free update information. So this is all in Japanese, so I'm gonna have to use Google Translate for it. So some things might not be accurate. It's very long. I don't know if I'll break down every single little detail, but if you need to, I'll go slow so that you guys can pause on the parts that maybe I don't read, and if you need to read it yourself, because this video would end up being like an hour long if I sat there and read everything, because they have specific details on everything. So the biggest thing that got added yesterday, I think last night after maintenance ended, which I think that was 11 p.m. PDT, was ranked mode. Everybody's been asking for it. It took them a while. I know it should have been there at launch for some people that really wanted it, but I mean, what can we do? It's here now, right? So if you're finally interested in doing ranked, you've had a lot of time to, you know, brush up on the gameplay, learn the gameplay, right? This is a very unique style of fighting game, right? So now you've had that time to polish up your skills, try out ranked, okay? I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I wasn't going to play ranked anyways, but update patch version 1.10. I think the last one was like 1.05. Released today. Please check the official website for detail. We are currently adjusting the playing environment, including brushing up on every character action, and to make the game even more enjoyable for everyone. We appreciate your continued support. So, communication hasn't been that good, but I mean, Bandai games just... unfortunately, that's what I guess what it is. So, free update version 1.10 release announcement. Ensure Bleach, blah, blah, blah. You can be comfortable. All right, changes and adjustments in version 1.10. If you don't want to hear me yap and you just want to pause it and kind of read it for yourself, you can, but I'm going to read out at least the main stuff here. So, the attack hit detection for each reverse action has been adjusted to improve situations where attacks miss. Obviously, that's great. Adjustments have been made so that almost all characters can continue combos with quick attacks after a break move. Also, adjustments have been made so that a break move can be canceled with a step. Excellent. We love being able to cancel into shit, right? Increase the amount of guard gauge recovered. Also increase the amount of guard gauge recovered when burst reverse is activated. Sped up the time it takes for guard gauge recovery to begin. Excellent. The soul reverse correction has been relaxed to make it easier to increase combo damage. The multiplier for the amount of spiritual pressure or power gained during the effect period has been increased. When using Ryatsu skill, is that how you pronounce it? Is it Ryatsu? Whatever. Cooldown has been set that reduces the amount of spiritual power gained. The cooldown can be overwritten by using a reverse action, but the Ryatsu skill is used again while a reverse action other than soul reverse is active. The cooldown will be triggered. The positions where steps appear have been unified for all characters. We've standardized the frames at which you can cancel a parry attack, making it easier to transition into a combo. Excellent. We've also adjusted the damage recovery time from a parry attack, making it easier to chain combos with a variety of attacks. We've increased the speed at which the reverse gauge recovers when a parry attack occurs. So far, all sounding like pretty good changes. Again, I haven't tried anything out yet, so I can't really say for sure, but I've seen some people talk about the overall patch after that recent update, and looks like things are positive, but I don't know. We'll see. More people got to play, right? Game mode adjustments and changes. Ranked match and ranking have been implemented in online mode. As we stated, that's a big major change to this. Okay, huge major part of a free update is adding a completely new game mode, which I know people are like, oh, it should have been in there from the beginning. During online battles, the UI for the controlled character will now be displayed on the left side for both 1-player and 2-player. Okay, interesting. The default battle time for versus mode has been changed to 300 seconds. Character adjustments and changes. So I think every single character did get some type of adjustment. There could be some, maybe 1 or 2 that are left out. I didn't go over everything, but like just to give you an idea of how much got changed. It's big, y'all. It's huge. It's like almost, I think it's every character. So I guess I'll read the like basic stuff. And then all the extra stuff here, we'll go over. I mean, again, I'll pause it for you guys to read everything, because if I sat here and I read every single little detail here, it would be ridiculous. So for now, we'll just start with ichigo here. Increase the amount of willpower required for awakening. By the way, this is regular, just base ichigo. Okay. Soul Slayer Ascension and Spirit Drive. Unique specifications: increased effect duration, increased damage increase rate, and movement speed increase rate while the effect is active. For his own skill, added frames where you can cancel the charge action by stepping. Special flash, increase the amount of movement at the start of the move. Spiritual pressure technique 1, strengthening, change the damage behavior, increase damage recovery time. So adjustment intention, taking advantage of the strengthened state during reverse. Ichigo Kurosaki has excellent offense and defense, but unlike other characters, he needs to activate reverse beforehand and then win by playing around again. I don't know why that sounds funny. In this adjustment, we have increased the chances of switching to the offensive by extending the duration of reverse and making the techniques used and playing around easier to use. In addition, the first spiritual pressure technique during awakening, Getsuga Tensho, can be incorporated into combos only during reverse to further increase damage. So you can aim for a powerful combo with just one attack, okay? So I guess I'll just read like the basis of it, okay? For Bankai Ichigo, beginning stage awakening, there have been changes for flash strike, special flash, unique technique charge, unique technique during the second spiritual pressure technique activation, and spiritual pressure technique 2. Okay, so if you need to pause it and read it, I know this is because of the translation. It's all fucked up here, right? it's like skinny on the side. I don't know why it's like that. That's just how the website is. I think they're going to release the English version soon, so if they do, I'll try to link that down below, but at the time of recording this, they have not released it yet, and I don't know when they're going to, right? So awakening here, fighting spirit, special flash, own skill. Okay, if you need to pause it and read all that stuff. Adjustment intention. Ichigo Kurosaki Bankai has a high level of ability with a large number of easy-to-use techniques, combo damage, and reversal capabilities through reawakening, but the inhibition of actions by his unique technique, Getsuga Tensho, was particularly strong. Also, if you acquire spiritual pressure, his spiritual pressure technique 2, Getsuga Matai, can connect high combo damage to soul-destroying techniques, allowing him to go on the offensive from any position. In this adjustment, we have reduced the strength of the techniques used in his overall playstyle, making it more difficult to force him to take powerful actions all the time, okay? Final Getsuga Tensho Ichigo. His is pretty small, so we'll just kind of just go over it. This is the character that you unlock by beating the story mode, okay? This is the only character that you can unlock, right? Lightning Strike, reduce damage when end stage is 0. Special Flash, reduce damage when end stage is 0. And Spiritual Pressure Technique 1, reduce damage when end stage is 0. When the final act is 1, we have made an adjustment so that reverse actions cannot be used until the end of the action, okay? So, final Getsuga Tensho Ichigo is a character who can decide that the game without being bound by the numbers of souls of his opponents. Yes, he's very powerful. Becomes more powerful towards the end of the game. In this adjustment, we have suppressed his performance at the start of the game, making it more difficult for him to gain an advantageous position from the beginning. So he got a nerf. I mean, because he's really fucking good, right? A lot of people would complain about him online from what I remember. There have been a couple, I think there was like 1 or 2 patches in between that changed stuff up, but overall, looks like a nerf, okay? Now, Uryu's got a lot here. I'm not going to go over every single detail, but you can just pause and read it. Uryu is the character that I like to use the most. He was like my favorite character to use other than Shuhei Isagi. Spiritual Pressure Technique 1, 2, Pursuit Walk, Flash Strike, Special Flash Various, Spiritual Pressure Technique 1, 2, and Mortar Derived, okay? Those all got changed. It looks like there's, for the most part, an increase in damage, increased recovery time. Although the controls are a little tricky, Uryu's excellent reach allows him to keep opponents at bay. Yeah, because he's got, you know, the bow and shit. So he's like more long range. But he has some restrictions on how he can move around. This is true, making it difficult to control the battle situation for long periods of time. With the adjustment, the reach of his flash attack when awakened has been extended. Interesting. Making it easier to reach opponents and make the most of his strength. When reawakening, the stiffness time of his special flash attack has been reduced, making it easier to maintain a distance of fight. So, it sounds like overall he did get a buff, which is great. This is my guy, so excellent. I'm down for it, right? Again, these balance patches, it's to balance the game out, right? Uryu, he's, you know, I don't know. I don't think he was really a character that most people really used, right? We got my boy Chad. He's got a lot of changes. Quick attack, dash attack, flash strike, lightning strike, special flash, own skill, spiritual pressure techniques 1 and 2. Awakenings. Yes, we'll go over it. I think we'll just read the adjustment intention because this is like a summary of everything, right? I like how it says Chado Yasutora uses his high durability to charge his special skills, and when the opportunity arises, deals huge damage to aim for a comeback. But he is restricted in his movements, and while he perseveres, he lacks offensive power. With this adjustment, he is now more capable of showing his true worth than before by making his quick attacks and flash attacks easier to use. So that's good. Buff there. On the other hand, the charge time required for his special skills and damage other than the root have been reduced, so you will need to be more careful about how you use them than before, right? So I guess in a sense you could say that's like a nerf. When awakened, if you delay and cancel a special flash attack when it hits, your special skill will hit at the root. So although it is difficult, you can get a big return. So his is just more of like a longer, like more. He's a more difficult character to use in that aspect, but you're going to get a better return out of it, right? Kisuke Urahara. Kisuke Urahara is a versatile character who is easy to fight with, regardless of distance or opponent, although he has his own quirks. However, the combo damage generated by his various spiritual pressure techniques was too high. In this adjustment, the combo correction for spiritual pressure technique 1, Kizari Kuranai Hime, is that how you pronounce that? Has been lowered, making it more difficult to increase the combo damage. The duration of the effect of the spiritual pressure technique 2, Are You Ready, has been extended, making it easier to demonstrate his strengths in combat. So, combo damage, rip for him, but the extension for this, Are You Ready or whatever, making it easier to demonstrate his strengths in combat. Okay, so I mean, yeah. I'll leave it up to you guys to go over if that's a change that was good or bad. I feel like I heard people say that Urahara was annoying a bit, but not as much as some other characters. All right, my girl, Yoruichi, right? The best girl. Maintains the tempo by using her speed to advantage with her rush ability, but due to her low spiritual power, she is prone to allowing a comeback when her opponent gets the chance. With this adjustment, she can now transition from a special flash attack to a combo when she activates Shunshin. So while she remains vulnerable to attacks, she can now more easily exert her strengths with a wider variety of attacks, okay? So she's more vulnerable now, but exerting her strengths with a wider variety of attacks. So that's good, right? Renji keeps applying pressure by using different actions depending on the distance, but the special flash attack at the start of the phase and the ability to suppress using his unique skills were a little too strong. So I guess he's getting nerfed here. In this adjustment, which these two actions have been adjusted, making it more difficult to continue the turn from the positioning as before. When using the spiritual pressure technique 2 Soul Vow, the frame difference of the special flash attack is strengthened, so it can now be used in the same way as before. Okay, there you go, Renji fans. All right, Rukia, man, this is getting really long, dude. I said I wasn't gonna read every single little detail, but I mean, I guess I would have to go over at least the adjustment intention so that we just get a good idea of it, okay? Rukia has a short reach, but she can fight reliably by using different techniques depending on the distance, but she relies heavily on spiritual pressure technique to show off her strengths, which made her start up slower. With the adjustment, we have strengthened her mid-range play by making it easier to string her together her combos, so that's good change there. Her first spiritual pressure technique after awakening first dance, Tsukishido, is an invincible technique, but can also be followed up with a follow-up attack. No shit, right? Which put a lot of pressure on her, so we have made it a bit risky. It has become harder to deal damage with a single technique, but by using her second spiritual pressure technique, Next Dance Byakuren, it is easier to increase the damage than before. Shuhei, my GOAT. I'm actually very interested to see what they did to Shuhei. Slow starter whose true value comes from the effects of fear, yes. But there were many situations where the opponent would choose not to use soul-destroying techniques, allowing him to avoid gaining fear and set up the situation. I don't know why, I just like choosing more difficult, annoying characters to use. Not really, but these are just the characters I like from the anime, right? So techniques allowing him to avoid gaining fear and set up the situation. With this adjustment, it will now be possible to actively gain fear. Let's go, albeit in small amounts. I'll take it. With spiritual pressure techniques, making it easier for Hisagi to demonstrate his strengths, even when the soul-destroying state is maintained. Let's go. My GOAT got his buff, right? In a sense. Rangiku. Big titty mofo. After awakening, Rangiku is a character who maintains an advantage by placing Ash and restricting the opponent's actions, but the situations in which she can place Ash are limited, making it easy for her to be in a suffocating situation for a long time. In this change, we have adjusted her unique skill, Ash Cat Deployment. That's such a name. I'm going to deploy this Ash Cat and her spiritual pressure skill 2, Cat Rondo, to improve Ash's continuity and ease of use. On the other hand, the opening skill suppressive power was too high, so we got to increase the stiffness time, so a little bit of a nerf there. Izuru Kira, also a character I like. He can increase his Wabiske, his wasabi count with attacks and finish off debuffs from spiritual pressure techniques, but there were limited times where he could effectively use the Wabiske count. With his adjustment, we've made it easier to increase Wabiske count while extending the duration of the effect, making it easier to aim for the soul-destroying technique. In addition, his unique technique, Hado no 11, Hado number 11, Suzuku Raiden, reduces the amount of guard damage more than the other actions, making it easier to slowly corner opponents in mid-range battles. Ikaku Madarame, my GOAT. Everybody's my GOAT. I love all these characters, bro. He has the ability to maintain the advantage in his playstyle with the variety of options, and although it takes time, he has the explosive power when awakened to decide the match in one go, but the special flash attack restricts the opponent's actions too much. In this change, we have adjusted the strength of his playstyle when increasing the total amount of the Dragon Crest gauge when awakened, so it will take more effort to decide the match than before, okay? So guys, no more brain dead shit. You got to put in the work, right? Genryusai Yamamoto, old man Yamamoto here. He has overwhelming firepower in exchange for various sacrifices. He was a character who would return to fighting even after touching the opponent, leading to difficult situations. In this change, the recovery rate of Going Gauge has been increased, making it easier to use his powerful attacks once you can touch the opponent. Don't let this motherfucker touch you, bro. In addition, the Hellfire state is now released when you hit or are hit by a Kikomi technique, so the risk is reduced compared to before, making it easier to aim for high damage using resources. Soifon, she uses her special moves to win the match. No shit. but when she uses her special move, Dark Sword, her range of movement is wider than other characters, making it difficult to exploit her weaknesses. In this change, we have increased the recovery time of her special move refill, so you will need to be more careful with the timing. In addition, we have corrected the recovery time of some actions when using the special move Dark Sword, so you will no longer be able to connect a combo from an attack, from a quick attack again, okay? I think a lot of these changes are just like, don't be an auto turn off your brain. Don't be a brain dead player, right? Ichimaru takes advantage of his long reach to keep his position at a distance, but the difficulty of maintaining that distance meant that he was unable to benefit from it. Yeah, okay, being super defensive and like far away is not always like the best choice. I mean, for this character, you kind of didn't have a choice. But I'm just saying, right, in general. So they were kind of forcing you to do that. In this adjustment, while the judgment of a unique spike has been strengthened to make it easier to hit the tip. Ooh, the tipper. What are you, Marth? He is the tipper, right? He is the Marth of this game, in a sense. While the rewards of his unique techniques, Godspeed Snake Thrust, and God Eating Dragon, and his Spiritual Pressure Technique 1, Empty Thrust, have been increased. Oh, Lord. Here we go. We got to go over Aizen's changes, okay? And again, if you need to, you can go through the video and pause and kind of read all the other extra shit. I'm just going to go over the summary. Sasuke Aizen has many unique abilities and is difficult to use, but the more time you spend with him, the more powerful he becomes. However, it was easy to force your own fighting style on the opponent throughout the entire match, aka just be a brain dead bitch. I'm just joking now. I'm just joking. In this adjustment, by adjusting the performance at the beginning of the match, it is difficult to show his true potential in the late game if you are overwhelmed in the early game. But in return, he is more powerful when awakened, making it easier to fight than before. The amount of fighting required has increased, but when reawakened, we have strengthened his spiritual pressure techniques, making them easier to use, okay? So I guess like the beginning of him startup, you're going to put in a little bit more effort, and I think the end of it, you know, it'll make it easier once you have your awakenings and reawakenings and shit. Byakuya Kuchiki, another very popular character. At the start of the game, Byakuya uses two different forms, and at Awakening, he specializes in long-distance attacks, but his Awakening attacks have their own quirks, making him more difficult to fight than at the start of the game. With this adjustment, we've made it easier to land basic combos on the opponent and increase the opportunities to transition into combos. On the other hand, we've limited the technique that can transition into combos from his unique technique, Sakura Shigure, which can attack regardless of the opponent's position. So now it's more important to use a variety of attacks to prevent the opponent from narrowing down on one target. Komamura Sajin, good at powerful fighting. We're about halfway. Wait, where are we? Yeah, we're about halfway through, y'all. Powerful fighting using various techniques, unique techniques, but his movements were heavy and it was difficult to go on the offensive. This is true. In this adjustment, various unique techniques have been strengthened, making it easier to use powerful actions using Tenkai. In addition, various unique techniques can be canceled with one spiritual pressure technique, making it easier to extend combos. Very good, very good. Shunsui uses the special rules of child play to develop the unique battles, but the influence of child play was small, making it difficult to influence victory or defeat. In this adjustment, the benefit of child play has been increased, making it easier to gain an advantage when winning a game. That's great, okay? Other actions have also been made easier to use, making it easier to win a game with variety of options. So he finally, I guess, got his buff that he needed. I'd never use this guy. I mean, I've used at least all the characters at least one time, just trying them out, but like, I don't know how to use him. Tosin, Kaname Tosin. Unique fighting style revolves around depriving the opponent of visual information, yeah, with his awakening effect. But this is an exceptional ability for a fighting game and has a huge impact. Yeah, basically you couldn't see shit. You couldn't do anything. No, I'm just joking. This ability, in the character's greatest feature. So in this adjustment, we have adjusted the visible range while retaining this individuality, making it easier for the opponent to resist to some extent. So yeah, they had to like, you know, balance this out more, just because like basically could not see shit. Since this ability affects the player and not the game, we intend to continue to be cautious in the future, okay? Interesting. He's got a very interesting change. Another character I very much like, Captain Hitsugaya. By repeatedly attacking, Captain Hitsugaya enters an enhanced state, allowing for more ferocious attacks. But because his reach is short, because he's a little guy, and he has few useful techniques, it was difficult for him to fight in the way he likes. That's right. They gotta, you know, cater towards the actual characters themselves, right? They were thinking about the characters and how their mindset is. This adjustment makes it easier to maintain the Tenso Jorin gauge, while improving his overall ease of use, making it easier to demonstrate his strengths than before. Excellent. Kenpachi. I'm interested to see what they change on him. The more injured Kenpachi gets, the more his firepower increases. I love characters like that, man. And he is a battle maniac who knows no bounds. However, it was difficult to create situations where he could utilize his firepower, and he was prone to struggle against characters with longer reach than himself, because he was just mainly like all like muscle and physical like melee based shit. So with this change, it is now easier to move forward with his special flash attack as the core, and it is easier to grab a chance to display his high firepower. The damage increase effect of his unique feature, Spiritual Pressure Amplification, has also been increased. So even if he starts off late, it'll be easier to aim for a comeback in the final stages. Mayori Kurotsuchi, good at gradually expanding, Mayori, why did it say her? What the fuck? Okay, they fucked that up. Yeah, with technical, whatever, but versatile actions and additional damage from poison. But the benefit of each action... I'm sorry, the her was throwing me off. But the benefit of each action from poison was small, and her individuality was not fully utilized. Although there are no major changes to the actions used in the game, the consumption cost of poison has been increased to make it easier to deal additional damage. So poison is better. The poison effect, right? It threw me off because I was thinking of the other character, and I was like, wait, she's not even playable. So I was like, what the fuck, bro? Moving on here. Kaien Shiba. Still crazy Kaien made it in the game, in the base roster, but Orihime didn't. Standard type character with few weaknesses, combo power, and invincible techniques, making him easy to fight against any character in a stable match. In this adjustment, the stiffness time of the flash attack and the unique technique Spring Water has been increased, so the risk of missing has increased. Excellent. We love that, right? Also, when awakened, if you can guard the maximum charge of the unique technique Spring Water, you will be able to gain advantageous frames, and you can shake up the opponent depending on whether or not you input a long press, okay? We're almost near the end. I think this is supposed to be Shinji? Mako Hirako. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Shinji. Whatever. Has many entanglements. Okay. And use more powerful actions if she hits her spiritual pressure technique to Gyakubushi. But although she is stable, she lacks offensive power. The she is throwing me off, man. In this adjustment, the judgment of spiritual pressure technique 1, it's my turn, has been adjusted to make it easier to continue attacking after capturing the opponent. In addition, if you are in Gyakubushi release state, you can now incorporate it into a combo from a flash attack derivative. Yeah, these translations, bro. Like I said, we'll have to wait for the English translations. My goat. Coyote Stark. He has a lot of changes. Requires sorry, I just burped. Requires completely different fighting styles in the initial stage and awakening, and has powerful actions that cost a lot for each, but he was not getting an appropriate return for the cost he paid. This adjustment improves the overall performance in both forms, and while the cost management remains a requirement, the actions themselves are easier to use. In the initial stage, you can now transition from a special flash attack with charge to a combo, making it easier to deal damage from a long distance. And when awakened, you can instantly gain blue flame wolf stock. Holy shit. Making it easier to use wolf-based actions. There is no change in the fact that souls are used as a cost, so the risk remains high, but the power of awakened soul destroying technique 1 has increased, making it easier to launch short-term battles. He just sounds like he's really good now. Or just overall great buffs for him. So Stark players. All right, Tierra Harley Bell. She has a lot of changes. Her strong attacking abilities depend on the amount of aura gauge. She's got aura. She has, but once her aura gauge is full, it is relatively easy to maintain it. In this adjustment, we have increased the amount of that aura gauge, the aura gauge decreases, but the amount that it decreases due to remaining spiritual power has been reduced, and a cooldown period has been set before it starts to decrease. So it will be easier to obtain the aura gauge if you can continue attacking. Also, when her combo was blocked, she was able to safely start over while reducing her guard gauge by stopping it with a special flash attack. But the time she remains frozen has been increased, making her more susceptible to counter attacks. Oof. All right, Urkiora. Easy to fight at any distance, mainly using powerful long-range attacks that use spiritual particles as a cost, but the self-inflicted damage from his unique skill Void Flash in Spiritual Pressure Skill 1, Black Void Flash, was large, making it difficult to gain a physical advantage even if he inflicted damage on his opponent. In this adjustment, the self-inflicted damage after awakening has been reduced, making it easier to use actively. So he got a buff there. Noritora. Although the movements are heavy, Jirga. It's Gilga. Has a chance to deal a lot of damage once he gets in range, but he is easily attacked from the time he moves around until he gets close, making it difficult to use his strengths. In this adjustment, we have adjusted the attack, judgment, and knockback distance of each action to make it easier to decide the match with a single chance. In addition, since block stock is now canceled by receiving an attack, you will need to wait for a chance more than before to ensure that the super armor effective is activated. Another goat, Green Zhao Jaggerjax. He has the potential to win a battle in one go. Yeah, with the explosive power of his unique enhanced state. But his ability to sustain an attack using his special flash attack was too high. In this adjustment, we have adjusted the stiffness time when in the destruction state or annihilation state to make it more difficult to sustain an attack. On the other hand, the amount of increase in the impulse gauge from his unique skill, Massacre Formation, has been increased, making it easier to maintain the destruction state and fight than before. Okay, so I get it. I understand. I fuck with it. Zalaparo Grands uses the special abilities to bring the fight to a long-term conclusion, gradually building up the situation and aiming to win by persevering. However, it was difficult to raise his spiritual pressure level, and even if he did, there was little benefit with the adjustment. In this, it has been made easier to move up to spiritual pressure level 2 when some of his awakened actions are strengthened, increasing his chances of attacking. In addition, the benefit of destroying an organ with awakening soul destroying technique 1, Puppet Show, has increased, and the appearance rate of the heart has increased when spiritual pressure level 3 is reached. So you can change your battle plan depending on whether you want to turn the tables with a spirit destroying technique or steadily destroy the soul. Yeah, this is a character, again, never touched really ever, other than just trying him out one time. He's a cool character because he's got a lot of unique shit, but like, god damn, made a whole essay just for his changes. So I believe she is the last character. Neliel. Older Schwank has an advantage in combat due to her long-reaching actions and the expandability of her combos using Chase Stock, but it took a long time to acquire Chase Stock. In this adjustment, we have adjusted the charge speed and stiffness time of your unique skill, Preparing to Pursuit, making it easier to charge in small increments and fight without being trapped by the opponent's movement. So she got her nice buff there. Yeah, man, that's That's a huge change, bro. Massive update. DLC is going to be releasing pretty soon here. Okay, not pretty soon. I think it's like later tonight. But yeah, biggest update we've gotten in Bleach. Ranked mode is out. I'm sure you guys have tried it. I'm sure you guys have tried some of the characters. So please comment down below if these changes were good, bad, if you're liking the game so far, if you know, are still playing it. Until then, drop a like on this video, subscribe, ring my notification bell. We'll cover Ichigo once he drops, and that'll be it. Peace out.
This is Broly, and you are watching Slow Plays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.